smooth transition from UConn into the other team in the tier with UConn at the top of this sport right now, Purdue. I actually have two Purdue topics to end the episode today, Carter. I'm
Oh,
sure you weren't expecting two different ones, but I think it's two different conversations. The first one is this. I think it's time for a serious conversation about the elephant in the room with Purdue. I do not understand how this team can concurrently be 33-0 in non-conference play in the last three regular seasons and also have so little success to their name in March. I don't understand it. If you lined up every single game that this team has played outside of Big Ten play in both the regular season and postseason, they would have wins in the top 80% of the toughest opponents they've played. And they would have three losses in the bottom 20%. I can't process that. It makes no sense to me. The sample size is now so large in the regular season of how dominant this program is that it's becoming more inexcusable in my mind for the mistakes they've had. Like, it would be easier to explain away the lack of success if this team was actually losing in the Maui Invitational. But the fact that they're not puts a more glaring light on their failures. And I don't think that's fair, but it's the truth in my heart and in my mind with how I evaluate this program right now. Why can this Purdue team not win in March? And is it going to change when we get there this season?
all right. Couple points we got to touch on here. First of all, for those listening, I'm taking my melatonin right now.
It's also that time. For those that aren't watching the full episode, go watch the full episode, number one. Number two, we're in the middle of a power hour, and these are the final two topics. So we've done 7 hours of recaps tonight. The numbers only keep going up. It was 2 hours of recaps, and now an hour and a half episode.
Let me say this. G, I joke about you a lot, and not like I joke about with you a lot. Like, oh, Ken Palm numbers. Oh, these numbers. Oh, this team is good against this team. This team is good against that team. And I'm not downing that whatsoever. Like I sometimes I say things like, oh, like who cares about Ken Palm? Who cares about analytics? Analytics are a real thing. I use them. I use them to either aid and or negate points that I say. But at the end of the day, there needs to be a real consideration taken that like that team just doesn't have it. And I can't explain it. And that's a real thing. Like some people just don't have it in that situation. And I personally don't think that Purdue is that team unless it happens this year. And if it happens this year, there needs to be serious conversations about that team just doesn't have it. Those players just don't have the mental fortitude to win a hard game or get over that hump. And that's not saying they're bad players at all. There's some great, great basketball players that don't have the mental fortitude to get over the hump. There's some great, great basketball coaches that don't have the mental fortitude to get over the hump. And I'm hearing your resumes. I'm hearing all that. But at the end of the day, I want to lean back on this. In the book of Kevin Durant, 315, he said, who the fuck wants to look at grass when I'm talking about hoop?
Right. It's
Sometimes it comes down to that.
The family program.
Sorry, Connie. But sometimes it really does come down to that. And like we joke about it. And like I'm talking about basketball with you, Greg. I'm like, that guy has that dog in him. You're like, okay, he's good. Yeah, he has that dog in him. But like, what does he do? Is he turning the ball over? Okay, yeah, that's great. But that guy might just have that dog in him. That guy can win a tough game against a 16 seed. There's great basketball players that just can't get it done and can't get over that hump and can't win in March. It is what it is.
Okay, couple things. I hate the dog in them term. You know I hate that term in general.
I know you do, but doesn't it kind of like, isn't it just an overused term? But when you look at it in the core of it, it actually does apply sometimes.
Sometimes, yes. But I think in general, fans, I don't want to use the C word. I'm going to use the C word. Casual fans use the quote unquote dog in them term to explain away success or failure. Okay. That's all it is.
Purdue's great, by the way. I just want to put it out there.
Right. But I think that's like like Arizona doesn't have less dog in them because they lost to Purdue. But there are fans that are going to be out there being like, Tyler Boswell doesn't have that dog in him. I think that's just stupid. He didn't play well. That has nothing to do with if he has quote unquote dog in him or not. Braden Smith didn't have less dog in him when they lost to Northwestern. It's not a thing. Like, it can be a thing somewhere. But like, I think you and I would look at Edey, Smith, and even Lawyer and say they have quote unquote dog in them, right?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think those players do.
So then what are we doing?
I mean, there's a difference in having there's a difference between having that dog in you now and having that dog in you when it's critical.
That's the thing I'm more interested in tapping into here, because what I want to know is what changes between December and March. Because everybody agrees Painter is a genius. He's a great offensive coach. He gets the most out of his teams. But the team is always better at the beginning of the season than they are at the end of the season.
Do you want to know what I truly think it is?
Yeah.
Mental.
You think it's just the yips?
Somewhat. Like,
but that's
not to relate it to my program, because I truly think this is, and honestly it makes me mad. Like, you know how we've had conversations offline. You know how mad it makes me when we get to the whole, oh, here we go, Izzo, March, new mode, something like that. Like, we even had a conversation in the early days of Sleepers where we had an interview with Matt Costello, and he's like, and we asked him, we're like, is there anything different about March? He goes, no. Like, Izzo's the same way he was, and like their mindset's the same that it always was. But it to me, like, it's got to be a mindset team, because it's not a talent thing. It isn't. It's not a scheme thing. Painter's a great coach. It literally has to be mental. That's the only thing. A mental, an own mental block too.
Here's my issue with that. I think everything we've talked about, whether it's dog in them, whether it's yips, whether that's mental, could all apply to specific players and personnel. I think the issue with Purdue is program wide. I don't think it's these players. I think these are the best players Painter's had.
Wait, no, but I'm saying it is a program thing.
Yeah, but like,
I'm saying the yips are a program thing.
Wouldn't the yips apply to specific players and not the program as a whole? Like, Carson Edwards didn't have the yips.
He didn't, because Carson Edwards is different.
Did Jaden Ivey have the yips?
Yeah, I think he did.
I don't think Jaden Ivey had the yips.
I think he did.
I think Jaden Ivey was a flawed player. I don't think he had the yips.
See, I think he did.
Did Travion Williams have the yips?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he had the yips. I think he was a flawed player. But
See,
I think this year's team, I don't think this year's team has flawed players. And I don't know if they have the yips. I think what I'm trying to say is this, which it doesn't feel good to say it out loud at all, but I think I'm going to say it. This might be the power hour talk. I think it's a Painter issue. And I think I'm discovering that it's a Painter issue on the fly right now, and I don't know how to feel about it.
I'm kind of scared that you just found like a Painter issue, like Painter's not doing the right thing.
If the entire program has the yips, wouldn't that be on one guy to solve?
Let's unpack. So you're saying, let's say we switch Izzo and Painter. Is Izzo winning a national title with this team?
I don't know. Probably not.
I
think I'll say this. I think if Izzo's the head coach of this team, they're not nearly as good in the regular season. Izzo throws games all the time in the non-conference.
He does.
We've literally seen it. Like, his whole thing, but and I'm not advocating for throwing games, but like, it feels like Painter's entire program is built around we're so dominant in December. And maybe that's just a result of what they've won or what they've lost. But like, I think you can go back through all of these teams, Cart, and I don't feel like any of them have been playing their best ball coming into March.
Yeah. But the thing is, Payne's such a great coach, though. Like, can we separate that?
Payne has nothing for a 2-3 zone. Like, I feel like this was my eye-opening moment, man. Like, wait,
That 2-3 by Tommy Lloyd really set it off.
this dude, Matt Painter, has the National Player of the Year, a point guard who I think is the best point guard in the country, and a third guy who went for 27. And Tommy Lloyd threw out a junk zone his team doesn't even practice. And Matt Painter's team couldn't score for 11 minutes. Like, and he's supposed to be an offensive genius?
It's hard to score against his own sometimes.
I used to get so excited when I saw his own at all times. You don't zone me, Cart. You don't zone me.
Because you're Alex Caravan, right?
As a coach or a player, you don't zone me. God, no, I don't know. I objectively think Painter's awesome, and I really like him, and I'm rooting for him so hard. But it's getting harder and harder as they win more and more games in the non-conference. It's getting harder and harder for me to understand why I don't trust them at all in the tournament, other than Matt Painter.
So before we move on to the next topic, and this can be a rapid fire type question. Purdue loses in the first round this year. Should Painter be on the hot seat whatsoever?
No, you can't. But
you just said like the frustration's there.
I mean,
and I'm not saying this as I agree. I'm just asking.
You can't fire him because he's too good. He's too good. His team is always too good.
Mm-hmm.
And look, the Carson Edwards team should have made a Final Four. That's the other elephant in the room, right? Like, the Carson Edwards team got incredibly unlucky to not make a Final Four.
Can I play a little devil's advocate here?
Of course.
It's fine that he does that here.
It's fine that who does what where.
It's fine that Paint does this at Purdue.
Because it's Purdue?
Mm-hmm. And it's Paint.
What is that?
And that's credit to him. I'm not downing him at all. He can do that here.
Oh. Is that why Paint's never leaving Purdue?
He can do that. He can do that here.
And that's Paint's never going to leave Purdue. Are you doing what I think you're doing, Cart?
No, you're about to take me to a bad spot that I don't even want to do.
Is he a little comfortable?
I mean, is Paint just Fran with March? Is Paint just Fran with Big Ten success? Like what?
Fran with a 7'4" guy every year.
I'm just saying.
I feel like we might have gotten so. I feel like this therapy session might have gone south for us. I will say this: Purdue fans can yell at me in the comments. I hope Purdue fans know enough to know that, like, we really do like this program. We really are rooting for this program. We love and respect Matt Painter. We like this team. We love Braden Smith. We love Zach Edey. We will defend all these guys to the death. We literally will. At the same time, I say this with love. This is a program that worships a coach that never made a Final Four.
That's crazy to me.
I mean, Gene Cady never made a Final Four, and these people treat him like he is God's gift to basketball.
Wait a minute. For real?
Gene Cady never made a Final Four, Carter, in his career.
I did not know this until just this moment. You're telling me I couldn't bring my phone out in Harry's chocolate shop for a coach that ain't made a Final Four?
Gene Cady spent 25 seasons at Purdue. He made the NCAA tournament 17 times out of 25 seasons. He won 6 Big Ten titles in 25 seasons. He never made a Final Four.
What's the farthest he went? Please tell me he made Elite Eight.
Those are Fran McCaffrey numbers, my dog. He just stayed there 25 years. That's it. And when I asked people in the Discord about this, by the way, I was like, wait a second, what? I asked the Discord about this, and they said, well, he did it during Bobby Knight. That's why we care so much.
So we're giving Gene Cady credit for being second?
He made it tough.
In his own state?
He made it tough on the abusive guy that threw chairs.
I wish I was a Purdue person.
So maybe it goes beyond Painter, I guess is what we're saying. Maybe it's... But Purdue fans don't seem happy. I'll give them credit for that. Like, Purdue fans want more.
They don't seem happy, but at the end of the day, to be
a Purdue... They are happy? You think they're lying? It's fake outrage?
Yeah, like, to be in good graces with Purdue, you just got to be there and be present.
Fake outrage is a hilarious.
Just be there.
I didn't
Like
see that coming
their
from
their
you.
biggest gripe with Robbie Hummel is he's not there enough.
You love Robbie Hummel.
I do.
I love Robbie Hummel.
I do. He's letting the town down by not having a bar there. But like literally, you can be an absent dad as a Purdue
Okay.
fan. You just got to show up.
I will shotgun a beer right now if you can tell me the person in my phone contacts list that called me today and told me he talked to Robbie Hummel at the bar last night. You get one guess.
Last night was Hummel on the game last night? Yeah, he
It
was.
was I'll give you where it happened. It happened in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Craig Bowers.
Did you see a video of a guy trying to check into a
Was it
basketball?
Mantis?
Mantis called me today. Mantis called me asking me if the Field of 68 wanted Mantis for an interview.
That's insane, man.
I love Mantis. I love him. Said he met Robbie Hummel at the bar last night. They had a great time.
That's hilarious. Kilroy's?
I don't know. I didn't ask.
That's a question you should ask.
All right, Purdue fans. Hopefully, actually, let us know. I don't like to do this play a lot, but just straight up, I want to know your thoughts on this. Like, I genuinely want to read your thoughts on this. So leave them in the comments so that Cart and I can kind of comb through this. But tell us why. Why do you think it is that Painter can't get over the hump in March? And is it going to change this season? That's what I want to know from you. Where's your head at?
Can I do one backtrack before we go to the next topic?
Quickly.
Oh, sorry. My one backtrack was I would put Purdue's campus in Boston.
Oh, to the previous topic?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I think everyone in Boston's content. They have the Red Sox. They have they got the Patriots. They're just okay. They got the Bruins. Zdeno Chara is a fraud, but like they literally just have it.
They
And
just
they're
breed
okay.
winners. They just breed winners.
They're just okay with everything. Doesn't matter.
I don't think that's true at all.
They're okay.
I don't think that's true. I think you're reading Boston wrong.
It would be the first time.